What is it about Thurrock for you? What is it about Thurrock that makes you and drives you to get involved in politics, which is a difficult job?
Well, it's a difficult job, but it's the place I live in. My kids are here, my family's here, my kids went to school here. Everything about me is in Thurrock. I mean, I don't want to represent anybody anywhere else. I haven't been carpet bagging up and down the country looking for parliamentary seats. When this opportunity came up, I took it because it's the only place I'm interested in. It's the place I live in, it's the place I want to represent. People know me generally, and I know them, and I think we need a very good voice and a strong voice in Parliament for Thurrock.
So you've been working alongside Andrew McKinley for such a long time,
yeah.
And in that time you must have seen the changes that have taken place in Thurrock, and certainly under a Labour government for the better. How do you see, at such time as you're elected, how do you see the future challenges for the constituency?
Well, there's lots of challenges, the big changes going on in Thurrock, but I mean, we've made a big change in 12, 13 years of a Labour government, because Andrew got elected in '92 with a weight-thin majority, and the place was a total mess. Schools were falling down, people were worried about their hospitals, and I think people often forget the journey that we've made since '97 after the Thatcher years, and I think that will continue, but it'll only continue if we have a Labour government following the policies that we've outlined.
Now, obviously you've walked through the gates of the Houses of Parliament many a time as a staff member. What does it mean to you to be able to walk through as the Member of Parliament?
Well, it'll be great, because all of those MPs and cabinet members and ministers who ignore you will have to talk to me for a change.
Well, I can't think of a better reason than to get people to talk to you than to be able to.
But seriously, it will be about me doing my bit for Thurrock and making sure that what we want in Thurrock we get, and making that happen, and being a very strong, vociferous advocate for what we need in Thurrock. I mean, Andrew's done a fantastic job in 18 years. And he does wear you out. I mean, he's done 30 years work in 18 years for Thurrock, and he's made a real difference. And you know, people know that Thurrock isn't in Scotland anymore.
Well, that's an important thing. Now, obviously, when you're canvassing, the political landscape is quite changing, just people's perception of a Member of Parliament and what that's about. I mean, what have you found on the doorstep, and what have you been able to say to your electorate about, the situation over, say things like the expenses and how you approach those issues?
Well, we've been lucky because our MP was scrupulous on his expenses, and you know, we've got a clean bill of health more or less on the expenses side of it, but people are very unhappy about what other MPs have done and the things they've claimed for. So, you know, we've got a contract, they know in straightforward terms what they're going to get from me. I'm not going to have a second home because this is my only home. You know, I'm not going to be claiming for moats and duck houses and everything like that. And when they announced a year or so ago that there was this John Lewis list, I mean, we weren't aware of a John Lewis list, so that John Lewis list was only for a chosen few.
Maybe we weren't even aware of John Lewis, let alone the list.
But no, I mean, I think it's good that I'm a local person. Yeah. People recognise that, and you know, I'm looking forward to the challenge, and it's going to be tough because you know, there's lots of things against us, but.
How do you find the mood on the doorstep? Because obviously things have changed, and we've seen a Conservative lead in crazy figures gradually be reduced bit by bit, and obviously none of us should be complacent about that. But how have you felt the mood on the doorstep when you've been out talking to people? Do you detect a change? Do you detect people looking more closely at the issues now?
Well, I think they are, but I think the Labour vote is quite solid in Thurrock. I mean, people are going to vote Labour because they voted Labour traditionally for a long period of time. But you know, you ask people how they're going to vote, and they look at their place, they look at the council, they look at the way the council's run, and they see the Tories in running this council into the ground. We're virtually bankrupt now, thanks to the Tories in Thurrock. And when you sort of point that out to people, I think, oh God, don't let them get their hands on power in Westminster. So that is a determining factor. There are particular local issues here. If you want to see what Tories are like in power, come to Thurrock, and we've got lots of examples of waste and complete mess.
So it's like irony, in fact, that the fact that the Conservatives end up running the council actually gives you a massive springboard in an election campaign to really prove your point.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're pressing that message home on the phones and on the doorstep and in direct mail and in leaflets how poor they are.
So Final couple of questions, just on a personal note. Obviously, running an election campaign has to be one of the most stressful things that any individual can do. You know, how's your sleep?
It's fine. I'm totally relaxed. Always pleasant to people. And, you know...
These people know you well. There seems to be a discrepancy here between one or the other.
But I'm not doing this on my own. There's a good team behind us, and they do take a bit of flack.
Mainly from you or from other people?
Well, they say it's from me, but I'll try and
Scapegoat.
I'll try and be pleasant. But we are working towards a common purpose, and that's winning the parliamentary seat and keeping this Labour, and also we've got a chance of taking back the council. So there's two things to fight for, and we're fighting very hard for it. And you know, without those people behind me, we just wouldn't have been able to do it.
Well, Carl, all I can say is it's obviously a fight ahead. You're a local man. You've dedicated, you know, most of your life to politics and making Thurrock a better place for the many, not the few. And with the team and the people here, I have no doubt you're going to storm here to an election victory.
Well, we're looking for a future fair for all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.